Alright, so what we're going to do in this video is actually process the user's answer. We want to check if the answer that they submit is the right one, and if it is, we want to add it to our score. Now the score is going to be held in a PHP session. Alright, so a session is basically, you can look at it as a global variable. You can use it on any page, anywhere in the script. Alright, so we're just going to create one session variable called score, and we'll just add to it as the user gets correct answers. Alright, so let's go ahead and open up process.php. Alright, so the first thing we want to do here is include the database file. Alright. So, like I said, we're going to have a session variable. So, in order to do that, we need to start a session. Alright, so at the top here, we need to say session underscore start. And this has to go on every page where you're going to use the session variable. Alright, so basically it's going to go at the top of every page along with this database include. Alright, so now what we're going to do here is we're going to first check for the score. Check to see if score is set. Alright, and we're going to do that with an if statement. And basically we're going to say if it's not set. Alright, so this is set is a PHP function to see if some value is set. Alright, but we're going to check and see if it's not set, and that's what this exclamation mark does. It makes it the opposite. Alright, so we're going to see if that session variable, okay, now session is a super global just like post and get, so we can use it like this. Alright, and the variable name will be score. Okay, so if score is not set, then what do we want to do? We want to set score. So session score is going to be equal to 0, because if it's not there, if the score session variable is not there, then we want to create it, but we want to set it to 0. And then as the user goes on and gets correct answers, it'll be added to that super global. Next, what we need to do is we need to get the answer. Okay, so when the user answers the first question, or any question for that matter, it gets submitted to this file, and it gets submitted with the post super global array. Okay, so we need to check for that. We need to see if post was submitted. All right, so we'll say if post, and we're going to check for the submit button, because obviously if the submit button has been clicked, then we want to process. Alright, so actually we're going to say if is set post submit. Alright, now we can just do a simple test here. Let's say echo I've been submitted. Alright, so let's go ahead and go to our question. We'll reload this. If is set post submit. Actually, you know what? Let's just say if post. Alright, so this tells us the post has been submitted. If we just go to process.php without post, then it does nothing. Alright, so we want to make sure that it's being submitted. So we want to get two things really. We want to get the question number, and we want to get the selected choice. Alright, and the question number is up here in the URL. So what I want to do is I want to pass it through post, not through get, not through the URL. So all we need to do is go to the form, the question form, and create a hidden input. All right, so right under the submit input, I'm just going to say input type equals hidden, and the name is going to be number. Okay, and then the value is going to be number right here. Okay, because we're putting the get variable into the number variable, so I want to pass that down here. Alright, so let's make sure that these go through. Number we're going to set to post number, and then say selected choice post, I think it's choice. Alright, so these keys right here are coming from the name attribute on the question form. So you can see the choice input has a name of choice, and then the number input has a name of number. So that's where we're getting these values right here. Alright, now I just want to make sure that these go through. So we're going to echo number, and we'll just put in a line break here so we can read it. And echo selected choice. Alright. Undefined index number. Input type hidden number. Huh. Undefined index number. You know what, let's just look at the post array. We can do a print R, and that's going to print out all the values of the array. Oh, you know what? I don't think I reloaded this page before I submitted it. Yeah, because you see, we're getting both here. So let me try that again. Alright, good. So we're getting number 1, question number 1, and we selected the choice 2. You see, if I select this one, it's 4. So we're grabbing the whatever the user submits. So that's good. So we can get rid of that. Another value that I want to have is the next number, because once that we go through and we check the answer, we want to redirect the user to the next question. So it'll look like this, the next question. So let's create another variable, and I'm just going to call it next, and we're just going to set it to number plus 1. Alright, so now we want to run another query. We want to get the correct answer for this question. Okay, so let's just put in a little bit of information here. Alright, so we're going to get correct choice. So query. So we want to say select all from choices. By the way, these are not quotes. These are the little back ticks. The key is located right above the tab. You don't need shift, just the key above the tab. I know some people might get confused and think that those are actually single quotes, but they're not. Alright, so select all from choices where question number equals number and is correct equals 1. Alright, so if we go and look at our database, okay, so we're looking in the choices table, we're looking for the question with the current number, which is 1 for us. So we're getting, just from that query alone, we're getting these 4 answers because they all have the question number of 1. But we're also saying where is correct is equal to 1, and you can see that only one of those is equal to 1. Alright, so that's the correct answer. That's what it should grab for us. Alright, so now we need to run the query and put it into a result variable. Alright, so we're going to say result equals query, and we're going to say or die, and inside here we just want to shoot off the error and the line. Alright, so that should do. Now we want to get that row. Result fetch assoc. Alright, so now we're going to just set the correct choice. Correct choice is going to equal row, and we want the ID. Alright, so now we have the correct answer in this variable, so we can actually do a comparison. So we'll have a simple if statement. So we're going to say if correct choice is equal to the selected choice, then they have the right answer. So we're just going to add to that session variable. So session score, and we're going to increment it by 1. You can say session score +1 or ++. Alright. So actually I'm going to change this up here to ++ as well, just to be consistent. So we're not going to have an else here, because basically if it's correct, then we're just going to add to the score. If it's not, then it's not going to add to the score. So very simple. So the last thing I want to do in this process file is check and see if it's the last question. Because if it's the last question, we don't want to go to the next question. We want to go to our final page. Okay, so we'll set up an if-else statement. Okay, so we're going to say if number is equal to total. Now we don't have this variable total yet. We're going to have to get that. We'll do that after. So if the number is equal to the total, so basically if there's 5 questions and you're on number 5, you know that that's the last page. And if it is, then we want to redirect. Okay, so we're going to use the header function and do just a simple redirect in PHP to final.php, and then we just want to make sure we exit. Alright, and if it's not the last question, we want to redirect to the next question. So So header, location. Okay, so the location is going to be our question page, question.php, and then the number is going to equal the next value. All right, see how that works? All right, so let's just write a quick query up here and get the total. Now, doing what I'm doing here, I think I've mentioned this before, but doing queries right in the page like this, it's not the best practice. Well, this actually isn't a display page, but on a page like question, where we're putting the queries up here, I mean, it's not the best practice, but I just wanted this to be a really easy project just to get you comfortable with making queries. In future projects, we'll create a database class, and we'll just use that as kind of an abstraction layer to communicate with the database. So this basically is just for simplicity, really. All right, so get total. First, we want to create our query. Select all from questions. And that's it, really. Select all. And then I'm gonna get result. Results. Let's see, what am I doing? Query. Alright, so total is going to be equal to results. I can't type today. Results, and then num rows. Alright, so that should give us the total. Alright, so let's give this a shot. Now, we don't have our final page done yet, so I just want to make sure that it's going to pass us to the next question like it's supposed to. Alright, so we'll start the quiz. Question 1 of 5. Do we have 5? We don't have 5 questions, do we? Oh, I didn't make that dynamic yet, did I? Let's actually go to the index page real quick. Total. Wait a minute, we did do that. Number of questions. Oh. Yeah, we want to put the number here as well in the question.php file. Because, look, we just have question 1 of 5. So we want to get a couple things here. Looks like in the question variable we have the, we can get the ID. I'm sorry, the question number. So we'll say PHP echo question number. And then the total, did we do that here? Alright, so let's just grab that total code that we just wrote right here. And then down here we can just say question number of total. Okay, so let's see if that... Alright, so now we have question 1 of 2, which is correct. We only have 2 questions. Alright, so let's go answer that. Alright, so it says you're done. Look, oh, we did do the final page, I'm sorry. But it didn't go to question 2 for some reason. Huh. Alright, so let's do a little bit of debugging here. So in the process file, it looks like it's not, this isn't working correctly. If number is equal to total, then redirect, else. So let's do, let's echo out total, make sure that that's correct. Alright, so that's correct, there's 2 total. Now let's echo out number. Number 2. Alright, so I figured out the problem, and it's that this here, this next equals number plus plus, this is changing the value number to 2. So I just want to not do that and just do number plus 1. Okay, and that seems to work. So if we reload, whoop, I just need to get this out of here. Okay, so we answer question 1, brings us to question 2. We answer question 2, it brings us to the final page. Okay, final score 5, we obviously need to change that. That's just static, just a static number. But everything else looks good. Alright, so let's go to the final. Alright, so instead of just having a 5 here, we want our actual score. And that's really simple to do. All we need to do is start our session and output the session variable. So up here, we're going to say session start. Okay, so you want to do this on every page where you want to use the session. Alright. And then down here, we're just going to say PHP echo session score. Alright, so let's retake it. We'll get the first one correct, and the second one we'll get wrong. Okay, so that's not right. Oh, actually, we need to include that session start on the question.php file as well. So I'm going to copy that. And we can try this again. Whoop. Okay, so that's correct, that's correct. Final score 1. Okay, it should be 2. Let's go back to the process file. Is set session. Oh, I have 3 S's here. You guys probably saw that a long time ago. Alright, so that should be 2 S's for session. Alright, let's try this again. Reload. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Alright, so now we're getting final score 2. Stupid mistake. So that's basically it for the front end here. What I want to do in the next video is just create a simple form where we can add questions to our quiz. And that's really it. My goal for this was just to kind of get you familiar with making queries, selecting data from the database, displaying it. Obviously this isn't the most secure app. We're not really preventing SQL injections and things like that. We're going to get into that later on in later chapters. We're going to take more of a object-oriented approach. So this is basically just like a beginner app. But yeah, in the next video we'll create a form and we'll be able to add more questions.